Look, look, it's already begun, and it's going to work. Now, it's growing, but there's a protest against the voting, the gutting of the voting rights, and a lot of the recruits and current members of these SEC schools, they're going to ruin these schools. They're going to bankrupt these states. They're going to leave. They're going to go and play for more teams. And the more I look into this, they're on average, no SEC school even, they do have a NIL payroll, but it's like really, really low. Now, do they have individual players who make a lot of money? Yeah, they do. But when you look at the whole team compared to Maryland, Indiana, make more money. And you're going to see these star players not go to these SEC schools. And that means it's going to have a domino effect. The others won't go. The others won't go. Now, what are they going to do? They won't be a competitive conference. They're going to lose money. They're going to lose millions and millions and millions of dollars in addition to the tourism, in addition to how it's going to be perceived. They're not letting black people vote in the sense that they're deliberately diluting their vote by putting them in districts overpopulated with whites so that they have no voice. I'm telling you, you can say, and I did say it first, thank you. You can thank me later. It's already beginning to go. It's already starting. Now, remember, we're not in college football. College football, we're in May. You're looking at what, June, July, right around what, July, August, maybe August? Yeah, August. It's already building up. All it takes, and it's going to happen. You don't understand. This is going to happen. You have no idea. If you think this is, we get it, oh man, they just greedy, they just want the money. Yeah, a few of them. But you're going to see a mass exodus. And if that happens, that conference is no longer competitive. And that's going to mean people are not going to watch it. That school is going to be looked upon very negatively. And that legislator, doing what they did, just going out there, drawing up them lines. Now, we see a few southern places, I think South Carolina, a few places said, no, we'll put it on hold, or they voted not to do it. But a bunch of these schools have done it. And they're going to pay for that, man. They're going to pay. They're going to pay. They're going to pay in being competitive. And they really underestimate black people in the sense they think all black people, you can buy them. They think they're not going to be able to do it, man. I'm just saying, when you take a look at this, a lot of those athletes are going to turn those schools down. Now, you say the scrubs and on the bench and those guys, you're right. If that's all they can get to some degree, but you do have injuries. At the end of the day, and I was looking at these other schools, right? At the end of the day, these schools, they pay NIL. They pay. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Right here. They say Maryland has the highest when you look at the whole team. You're telling me a top Alabama recruit going to Maryland, he won't get his 4 or 5 million or 3 million? You're telling me that he won't be the difference? You're telling me a star quarterback turns down Alabama, goes to Maryland? He won't be he won't make their team a competitive team. We saw that with Vanderbilt. They took Diego Pravia. Diego Pravia came from a small school. Was it New Mexico State? And they went out and they started recruiting, and then they had a good year last year. You got Ohio State sitting up there waiting for all. No, I tell you the truth. They ain't really want the scrubs. They don't. Guys who ain't going to play, guys who are not good enough to be in the starting lineup. No, they're not looking for those, because those guys will wind up hitting the bench for them. But top recruits, why? It's catching the buzz now. You guys underestimate. Do you act like these people don't stick together? You're going to see black recruits turn down. You got Notre Dame sitting up there. I go to Notre Dame. I turned down an SEC school for no. Why not? They're a good school. You get your good, solid, quality education, and you play for a wonderful coach. In a minute, I turned down an SEC NIL contract or whatever scholarship to go to Notre Dame. And they're going to use it. It's not just going to be in the football. You got college. Look at a school like Kentucky. I got to go look at that. But look at a school. That would be a SEC school. But what have they done? Have they went after saying we're going to block these people? If black people want to vote for Democrats, guess what? They can vote for Democrats. If black people don't want to vote, you can't go and make them vote. That's called freedom. But see, they're saying we ain't going to do that. We're going to set it up where you have to vote for a Republican or the people we tell you to vote. Okay, we'll see. Because now this is about money. Now this is about money. In the South, they don't make a lot of money. Now they're going to be losing star recruits. And in addition to that, you got your boosters. You got people, look at Texas A&M. It's a lot of oil money down there. They don't want to have a winning team. You're going to see changes. When you look at Texas, look at Texas. You got Wingo. There's a wide receiver. He's I think he's a freshman. What is this? No, he's a sophomore. You don't want him to leave. He ain't the only one there. But if he was to leave that school, that's going to affect Arch Manning. And he could. I don't know. He's a black guy. I don't know what he's going to do. But he could. He could say, no, I don't want to play here because of the racism. And I can't represent this school and I'll be a slave. I'll be making the school money. And they don't want me to vote. They don't want to treat me fair. And what do you think they talk about? What do you think game day? What do you think they're going to talk about? You think they're going to be sitting up there not bringing that up? You know, we had Deion on game day. You had The Rock on game day. I forgot you got Deion. You think Deion doesn't have a big catcher's mitt? You think Deion doesn't have a big bright neon sign saying "Come to Colorado"? Get away from that racism. Come on, man. I'll buy you a coat. Come on out. You the top recruit for Alabama, the top recruit for Arkansas, the top recruit. You telling me Deion he ain't waiting right now saying, come on to Colorado? You telling me that? Oh, this was a mistake, man. This is Trump South. This is, hey, you want to bring back Dixie? Okay. This is going to be a mistake. And not only is it going to be a mistake, it's going to hurt those schools. It's going to bankrupt those schools. Ole Miss. Come on, man. Bring on back. Hey, go grab Colonel Reb, man. Come on, Trump. We wanted to see Ole Miss. Go back to the Ole Miss Rebels. Come on. Come on, General Lee. Come on, Trump. Come on, General Lee. Bring them back. Bring them back. See, this is a different day now. They think black people have to accept that. No, they don't. And I'm telling you, man, they're not going to go and play for those colleges. If they're engaging in that type of behavior, they hurt them. They shouldn't have done that. They didn't care. They said, fuck that. We're going to do it because Supreme Court said we can. I think South Carolina said, we'll wait till next year. There you go. Because they're going to look at how much money they're going to look. I got the breakdown. Billions of dollars. This is every year. You got people who live in those communities, work at those schools. The football team in many cases pays for the entire, all of the student activities. It's because of the football team. Viewership, people not watching. Also, you're giving them what you don't want to accept. You're giving them the moral advantage. A guy can say, hey, I was going to go to Alabama, but my conscience won't let me. I can't go there, so I got to transfer. I can't play for an openly racist state. And you can play. That's what I'm saying. Here you got the guys running off at the mouth and stuff like that. They like Chud, the builder, living in a trailer park. Yeah, those guys, you guys going to make a lot of noise. You guys going to shoot off your mouths and make a lot of noise. And you're going to wind up like Chud, the builder. You're going to be in the jail. You and your racists. You're not going to get your way. You think you're going to be able to slave these people out, have them come and make those schools rich? They're not going to do it, man. I'm telling you now. Remember, I told you. Remember, I was the first one to bring this up, and it's catching on. You can play with this. You talk about Black Lives Matter. You're seeing a new movement, and that's a lot of money. And who's Arch gonna throw the football to? Who's he gonna put Travis Kelce? They gonna put Travis Kelce. They ain't gonna have nobody who he gonna throw the football to. He can't get open. You gotta have speed at the way. You gotta have hands and speed. Who's he gonna throw the football to? Get all the blacks off the campus, replace them with whites. I think you should. See, I hope that happens because I'm gonna put some money out there. Please do. Come on, Kentucky. Come on, man. This is the new South. This is the day of the South. Forget these Negroes. Go out there and have an all-white recruiting class. Come on. Come on, Tennessee. Come on, Mississippi. Come on. Come on, man. We're tired of these Negroes in there. Come on. Come on. Put them out there. Line them up. You won't win a game. You won't win a game. You won't be able to put a competitive team on the field. Please don't listen to them. Go ahead and transfer. We don't need you here. You won't win a game. You know you won't win a game. You got Oregon sitting out there, UCLA, Penn State. You got Washington. You got all these schools that waiting up say, hey, we'll take your top recruits right now. You don't believe in racism? Come on. Come to Indiana. Come to Michigan. You're seeing it, and they got plenty of time. You're seeing it. You got Dion out there. Dion, what you doing, Dion? Go and take all that top. Go take it. They're giving them to you. Just tell them to their face, tell their parents. Do you want to play for this racist-ass school or you want to come out to Colorado? We're family out here. They don't have any black coach. SEC, they don't believe in that. Come on. You just had Lane Kiffin say they're a bunch of bigots and racists. He said, I left Ole Miss. I hated Colonel Reb. He said, I hated all of that Confederacy foolishness. That's Lane fucking Kiffin, man. He's going to steal all those recruits. He's at LSU. They turned it down at LSU. The vote didn't pass, even though that was what the Supreme Court used to make their decision. It failed in LSU. You telling me Lane Kiffin's going to sit on his couch and watch good recruits go to Alabama and not say, hey, why don't you come down here? I left Ole Miss. You trying to tell me he ain't going to take all of the talent from Ole Miss? And then he's publicly he's saying I left that racist school. That's bad for business. Racism is bad for business. And we get to see it up front now. It was a bad decision to do what they did. Now, the Supreme Court said what they said, but they didn't have to redistrict. No, they didn't. They chose to do that. You got a school like Tennessee. They finna plummet, bro. And you know what? It's gonna be Alabama. Alabama's already struggling. Alabama lose 3 games, win. What year? What decade? They don't lose, man. Georgia and Alabama might lose 2 games. A bad year for Georgia's 2 games. They lost 2 games. That's a down year. They're gonna lose them recruits, man. Kirby Smart. Okay. And I want to see those fans have to look at a 2-8 Georgia. Woo, man. Oh, man, I want to see that, bro. I want to see that. All that tailgate. You got retirees, man, all they do, they love college football. They love it. It's a part of their blood. They tailgate. They travel with the team. They graduated from their school. They're contributors. Now they're finna lose all their talent. And remember, not only do they love the SEC, right? Come on, they do. They hate the other conferences with a passion. They hate the University of Miami in the South. They hate Miami. Miami's not in the SEC. Miami went to the championship game. He's going to get all that new talent. He's going to get all that talent out there. All these young kids now, they want to transfer. They're sitting out because of the racism. Guess what? That's a noble cause. Guess what? They can campaign with the SEC. They campaign with the NCAA to get another year. Say, hey, look, when I signed to this school, I had the right to vote. Now that I signed to this racist-ass school, I'm not going to play for it and I don't have full rights. You know the SEC is going to say, okay, we'll give you an additional year. They're going to sit out the year. They're going to get their NIL money. Don't say they're going to get money. They're going to leave these schools, man. These schools are going to go bankrupt, especially the college basketball schools. Okay, playing with it. You think these Negroes can be done any kind of way? Those days are over, man. You really think these Negroes, oh, you're going to do it? No, they're not going to do what you tell them to do. You can tell that to the Negroes in the ghetto. And like I said, you're going to be with them no matter what. They don't have money to go anywhere. You're starting to lose your intellectual talent. Oh, we want that. Okay, enjoy. Mississippi, the poorest state. You finna lose your football recruits now, your basketball recruits? You gonna let Ole Miss bury your state, that racist bullshit? Colonel Reb, that garbage? You gonna let them kill your whole fucking state? Lane Kiffin is a white man. That's a white man. He just came out talking down on the school. He said he hated that part of it. Say ain't see no goddamn plantation owner walking around as a mascot. He don't play. That man said, what is this? Go back to the days of Dixie. I don't want to go. He said, come on, man, get this racist shit. And he complained. He said it hurts recruiting. You have to go into a home and talk to parents, and they're like, you want my kid? I'm afraid to let my kid go there. I fear to let my kid go there. And he's got to assure them. And he's got to go talk to the AD and talk to the school, say, hey, listen, we can't have this racism. It's hurting recruiting. I'm trying to coach a team. Come on. We got to get rid of this name, this rebel. Get this shit out of here. They're the Bears now. All of these songs out there, touchdown, get that out of there. Don't play that. Come on, now we finna turn it up a notch, okay? Come on, College Game Day, that's liberals. We know Corso retired. Those are liberals. Those are liberals, man. Those are liberals. College Game Day? How much money do they bring in when they do College Game Day at Alabama? You want me to go and look? They win the SEC. They do the Alabama-Georgia game. How much money? Those are liberals. How many teams going to say we're not going to broadcast this crap? They put their foot in it. They should have did like, well, they should have did like LSU, and they should have did like South Carolina. Now, let me say this to the bigots and the racists complaining about me. They don't care what you think. You're trash. You're white trash. You'll never attend a game. Nobody cares about your racism. You can go, nobody cares. You're going to see these black players leave these schools. You can run around talking about Chud the Builder and how you love him. Nobody cares about your racism. And it's exactly what it is. It needs to be shown out. I'm glad they're doing it. Keep doing it. Redistrict. Redistrict and see if those players go into those black communities and not listen to those grandmas and those grandpas, those old people and those pastors. See if they turn a blind eye to them. They're going to transfer from those schools, man. They're going to leave. And you can have your racism and put up your Confederate flag, but you're going to lose a lot of money with that. And not only that, it's going to the north. It's going to the Yankees. You know what that did to your economy. You know about those the Yankees coming in. They're going to take all the talent, which means they're going to take all the money. What about your roads? How you going to pave your roads? What else? Where's this money? What about the school system? Where's this money going to come from? How you going to pay for a volleyball team women's volleyball. That comes from the athletic. That comes from the football team. That comes from the basketball. All that money comes from those teams. Okay, you're going to make them all white team. Okay, how you going to win a game? You won't win a game. You won't win a game. You do it. Do it. You won't win a game. Do it. I hope you're banned. God. And I'm going to get banned from in Vegas. They're going to tell you we can't take your bets. Do it. Give me an all-white Kentucky basketball team and see if I don't put. Come on. I'm putting everything I got on that. You won't win a game. I'm looking at Nebraska. What about them? You think they're going to take SEC talent? They're finna lose all their recruits, the talent. They're going to lose them. Wisconsin, they're going to go. All these SEC players for these schools that decide to redistrict, they're going to go to other colleges. And they're still going to get their NIL money. They have boosters. Michigan State got boosters. You think they don't have no boosters? Oh, we don't have any. Are you nuts? They got deep pockets. They can pay them if they want them. If there's a wide receiver and he's thinking about, should I go to Arkansas? I grew up in Arkansas. Ohio State said, no, come out here. They can match it. We'll match the money. And you're not playing for a bigoted racist school, for a bunch of bigots and racists who think it's okay with what they did. Come on, man. Come on, man. What we doing? SEC boycott, it's on the way. It's coming. And all of this political stuff and whining and protesting, what you're about to see is the power of the black dollar. You're about to see it now. You want to see what they bring to a state. Many cases, Mississippi, they said would be bankrupt. They're going to lose their colleges now. Mississippi State, them colleges are going to go bankrupt. Those schools are going bankrupt. Nobody's going to play. And once those schools become labeled as openly racist, guess what they got to do? They got to go to those state representatives and say, hey, man, we can't do this. Just like Lane Kiffin was telling them, hey, you can't do this because I'm trying to recruit. And Lane Kiffin saying, hey, look, I'm not a racist. And I work for this college, but we can't have this image of this college because I'm trying to recruit. The people at the college got to reach out to the legislature and say, hey, look, we can't do this. We can't field a competitive team. I just lost the left tackle. I just lost the star quarterback. The star running back has just went to Nebraska. My defensive back, he just went to Colorado. UCLA, we're losing them to these Yankees. Woo, bro. They underestimated that. You're going to see it too. It's going to take off. You're going to see a lot of firings. You're going to see 3 and 4, 5 and 6 SEC, no playoffs, SEC teams. You're going to see all that money being funneled, TV money, conference money. All that money is going to be going to the hated rivals. Michigan, Ohio State. The draft. Guess who's going to be getting drafted? Can't use that to recruit now. How many people got drafted off your roster, Alabama? When you were recruiting, we had nobody. They said, when was the last time? They said that hadn't happened since this stupid Supreme Court decision. They're not going to be able to field people to the draft. So over time, I'd say 5 years, it'll bankrupt that school. And you guys underestimate. I don't know why they keep playing with black people. Oh, they're not going. Well, I agree with you on. Now that's a different conversation. They have a lot of problems. I agree with that. But you're going to see that money, that money go to these other schools, these other conferences. We might see the actual abolishment of the SEC. We might see that. They might have to cancel those programs. Now they can do what they want to do. Nobody's going to try to stop them. But you might see the universities get rid of the football program because they can't field recruits. Wow, that's going to be, woo, man, that's going to be something. Woo, I want to see that. I want to see Alabama said on this day 4th, we're hereby have no football program. And the basketball program, we're trying to deal with that, but we can't field a competitive team. I want to see the SEC. That's a conference. What are they going to do? Say, hey, we're going to, Texas don't need them. Texas don't need the SEC. And I don't know what they did in Texas, but if Texas lost their black talent, if the University of Texas lost their black talent, they would become North fucking West. They wouldn't be the University of Texas. They're going to be Northwestern State University. They're going to be a Division II school. And I hope, you know what? Keep doing what you're doing, man. Raise the Dixie flag. Hey, Trump, change some old bases. General Lee. We want to bring General Lee. Trump, they can thank you for that. Trump, you finna destroy the South. You think that racism shit was going to work? It's not going to work, Trump. They're not slaves anymore. They've progressed. They don't have to accept disrespect. They have a right to vote for whoever if they want to vote for Big Bird, guess what? They're free. Hell, they voted for Kanye West. I would rather vote for Big Bird over Kanye West. But you want to say, no, we want to set it up. Okay, you're going to lose. Okay, the money finna go now. Now, we ain't even talking about the companies. You're going to have a lot of these companies pull out. They're going to leave these schools. They're going to leave these states. We're not even talking about the businesses. So what are you going to do? Huh? Let it go, man. Let it begin. Let the games begin. Now, I got some how you doing, Shanice? He said these colleges are about to be rezoned like the midterm elections. I don't know what you mean by that, Antap. You have to help me with that. Rezone a college? Here we come, another troll. Isn't it something, a black person, you discriminate against black people, and if they complain, they're victims? I mean, you see how no matter what the black, Malcolm X said, he said, no matter what black people do, he said, Malcolm's challenge was with America. He was saying, is America truly fair? And he says, no matter what you do as a black person, you're always going to be wrong. You can roll on your back, you can roll on your front, you can turn on your side. No matter what, you always wrong. Now, they discriminate against you, and if you complain, you're a victim. I hate your victim mindset. The problem is a victim. Haven't they been running around here saying that they're victims? And what was Rush Limbaugh, Sean Han, all these people got rich telling white people they're victims. But if black people, you're a victim. You're a victim. Oh, if we teach what happened during slavery, they're victims. They want you guys to feel guilty. They want you guys to feel guilty. We can't teach slavery. And black people are victims. Are you sure? Are you sure? This is what I'm saying. This stupidity. Now, you are going to have, if this is a real black person, you're going to have a few Negroes. A few Negroes, you can't save them. They're going to do what they want. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy playing for those schools. And yeah, you're not a victim. If that makes you feel better, you're a victor. You're not a victim. Yeah. Yeah. He said, recruit the KKK. You know what? Those guys are out of shape. And they might have they might not be eligible. I hope so, man. Please recruit KKK, man. Please put them on a basketball court or a football field, please. Preferably let them have one of those tattoos, one of those white supremacist tattoos. Hey, let's see. Jesse Owens showed you that it didn't work that way. He embarrassed Hitler. Hitler put his Aryan nation out there, and he cooked them. He cooked them. And Hitler had to stand up and salute the Negro. And he had to eat all of his words, all of his lies about he had an Aryan race. No, you don't. No, you don't. You got a bunch of slow. I'm gonna stop. You know what? I should do it though. I should continue. Nah, but he basically showed them that you all this area, and I don't care. You can feed them alfalfa leaves and oil of oregano, and their ass is still too slow. They got their ass cooked out there. Jesse Owens cooked them, and he was eating fried chicken, and he still got out there and cooked them. Come on, man. See what they want? They want the Negroes to still get out there and play for the university and make their money and not deal with the moral aspect. That's what they want. But we're past that, man. We're past that. We're past that. We're past that, and it's catching fire. All I want is my America bad. I don't really care about Trump, but the Black history is going to retain you to go on. Well, we'll see, Shanice. Other people, they're concerned about racism and big. Trump can do what he wants. What you got to understand, this isn't about Trump. This is about the players. This is about respect. This is about disrespecting your people. Asking me to go out there and play for Alabama while the poor people in Alabama got to vote for the people you pick. You want me to go out here and make money for the university? Oh, and you treat me fair because I'm making you money? No, that's disrespectful. I'll go play for UCLA. I'll go play for Notre Dame. I'll go play for another school. I don't have to put up with this. And what you guys got to understand is if they don't recruit top players, you can't win. You got a few teams, but to win with regular players, you got to have a superior coach. Your coach got to be he got to be like the guy for Indiana. You got to have a coach that can't win. Most of them can't win with inferior players. And that's what you wind up having. Now, we'll see. It's the beginning. Black Lives Matter started out slow, and then it took off. And don't even talk about, we just had a racial incident in Tennessee. Just had a guy go to jail. He shot a guy. Don't let that continue. See what I'm saying? You play the black community contributes a lot of money where they are. They're not slaves. They're not all in the ghetto. I know the white supremacists say they're all in the ghetto. They're not all of them. They on those college campuses. They're in those office buildings. They also have sway. They're going to sway Toyota to move their plant. They're going to sway these companies to leave the South. How are you going to be competitive with Nebraska if you don't have any industry? And you got a meth problem. You got meth. You got a meth addiction with the opes. You got the opies bouncing around. You got a bag of opioids, and you're talking about you're going to play for the University of Arkansas. No, you're not going to make it a quarter. You got all that stuff in you. He said, Africans hate America and white people replace Confederate statues. Don't disrespect my flags. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, Africans, who's an African? Who's an African? And you say, you mean my flag? You mean my flag? You can have your Confederate flag. You're right. That's your flag. When you said flags, you mean the American flag? That's my flag. Can I correct you? You see how the bigots think? You see what I'm saying? You can't make this stuff up. The bigot race. See what the racist wants to do is try to turn you against your country so that you don't want your rights. That's what he tries to do. My flags. Man, get your ass out of here. Get your old ass out. You know what? I'm going to block you. Get your old ass out of here. Oh, racist motherfucker, my flags. And you see why white women can't stay off the BBC, Ricky. Listen how you talking. Your daughter is probably giving a dude tapping off a BBC. You on the YouTube acting a fool. And your daughter or your wife is swallowing the snot off that black man. Stupid ass white boy, get your ass out of here, my flags. You're right. They said you're right. My blood pressure is going to go bad listening to these cowards. Get your ass out of here. I'm doing you a favor. You don't want me to just you don't want me to start. You thought you was going to have a wonderful morning. I sort of messed that up, didn't I? Yeah, we got him out of there. Look, right here. Let me read you this. Let me read you some of this right here. It says, if I can't vote, why should I make hundreds of millions for your school? A campaign has emerged calling for the athletic and economic boycott of the SEC. The movement urges athletes, recruits, and fans to boycott the universities in protest of these states passing and gutting the voting rights and diluting the black political representation. It's gaining traction through platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The core arguments, political disenfranchisement. The majority of black Americans live in these southern states and argue that the SEC universities financially benefit from the labor of the athletes while supporting politicians who actively strip away their voting district that predominantly serve black voters. The boycott calls for black athletes to transfer from SEC schools. The underlying strategy is to hit them by their wallets, disrupt the massive multi-billion-dollar revenues for these programs. It says the dynamics of the African-American community and in the SEC is a massive wealth transfer. The black workforce disproportionately generate billions and only receive a few meager crumbs. Yeah, NIL money, that's chump change. They make that. Vanderbilt makes that. You could take the entire SEC, the NIL being paid out to the SEC, every player, add it up, and Vanderbilt gets that in the first quarter. And that's not even a quality school. What do you think Georgia gets? Billions and billions. They're taking it from those blacks. And they're basically in a de facto way, the blacks are slaves. SEC crossed the 1 billion threshold. Each member school received an average of 72 million. Approximately 90% of the NCAA revenue is generated by less than 1% of the athletes, of whom 60% are African American. 90% comes from less than 1. 60% comes from that 1%. Now check this out. If they lose that, they'll be stuck with the 90%. What I'm trying to say, nobody wants to see them play. Look at Arch Manning. I know he's a white guy, right? I'm just giving you an example. Arch is a white guy. More power to you, Arch. Stay white. But who you think people, when they watch Texas, you think people watching Texas to see Texas, or they want to see Arch play? You think people don't want to see Arch throw to Wingo? You think they don't want to see that? Well, we're going to find out if that happens, right? We'll find out. Look at Deion. When Deion went to Colorado, you think people watching Colorado? And if you think Deion is out there right now recruiting. He's not going to sit on his hands. He finna come and take left tackles, running backs, centers. He's going to loot if he's smart. If I was him, I would loot the SEC. I would contact every one of them schools. I'd be right now at those. I'd be at their houses. I'd have their mothers call them in school and say, we got Dion on the couch. He wanted to know if he could stop by the school. I go, you damn right. Say, hey, why would you want to play for a racist school? Come on. We open doors at Colorado. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's wide open. It's wide open. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning. You got that clown. He done shot a black man. You finna see an exodus out of the South, man. You got bigots and clowns justifying, oh, it was a clean shoot. You know, I even see people on YouTube saying that it was a clean. What do you mean it was a clean shoot? It was premeditated. And I thought, well, so what is this about? It's about being a criminal? They're saying blacks have been being used and they lose billions in potential earnings. Most of the funds go to predominantly white coaches and administrators. Yep, so maybe this is, they say they played the game. They played with fire. These were always problems. They never had any really ability to change it. But yeah, SEC is a racist fucking conference, man. I know they are. They don't have black coaches in that conference, man. They had like one in the last like 20 years. So now how they going to justify their jobs now? They lose their black talent, what they're going to do? If all the talent goes to LSU, who you think will be the number one college in the conference? If the top 10 recruits from Georgia, top 10 recruits from Alabama, top 10 recruits, Ole Miss, top 10 recruits, Tennessee, but they don't, Tennessee, not, but no, if they get all of those, if they go to LSU, Lane can he could tell everybody that's at LSU, Lane can tell everybody that's already there, hey man, you guys can leave. I got all new recruits. They'll be the number one team. All that money will go to LSU. And all those guys, they're college guys. They're going to be publicly calling the university. I left because they're a bunch of bigots and race. How's that going to help your school? How's it going to help your state? You see the bigots. See, no, I'm looking at the bigots who happy that they redistrict because what they want to do is dance on the graves of black people. It's not going to work that way. And you man, I can't wait, man. I want to see them with their racism, bruh, and their rebel flag. And they got a bunch of scrubs trying to field a team. Because they don't know how bad it gets, bruh. You got no speed? How you going to compete? You ain't got, forget pad. Forget being stronger. They're faster. Yeah, and this needs to happen because then we can put to bed this whole notion of white supremacy, this whole belief that whites are superior to any other race. When you feel that all-white football team, all-white basketball team, we'll see, right? Then we'll see. You got to have you got to have speed, man. Not only do you have to be able to catch up with a player. Player breaks free. You got to have speed in the secondary to catch up with him, then tackle him. You ain't got no speed. How you won't be competitive. You don't have any speed. You got two people who got speed. The rest of them are average football players, like playing Yale. You want to see the University of Yale play Nebraska? And you know what? The line on that's going to be 45 points. They won't get a first down. They don't have the talent. Harvard and Yale, they just don't have the talent to compete against SEC schools. but they're about to lose their talent. And you finna see the money, you finna see bankruptcy. You're about to see these schools go bankrupt now. They're going to lose all their talent. And they're also going to be able to lecture them about racism. And I know they don't want to hear that. When they talk about how those teams, how the mighty have fallen, they're going to bring up why? Because of the racism, because of the desire to disenfranchise black people and dilute their political power, to disrespect them and say they don't have a right to the elect who they want to elect. Well, you elect the same people all the time. Well, they can. Why can't they? Now, let's make a point. Look at the district. You're right. The district's trash. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. All the businesses are foreign. Who's not disagreeing with that? So within the movement, they need to talk about change. Say, well, we don't need to go back to the way it was. We need to make it better because black people need to receive some of this money. All this university, okay, well then you need to set it up where black, if you're a descendant of slaves, you get at least a 2-year scholarship for free at Ole Miss, paid for by the alumni of Ole Miss. Get your wallet out, Eli. Archie, get your wallet out. You're going to pay for some Negroes to get an education. Write them checks. Come on, man, what we doing? Or we going to sit back and get clowned or not? What we going to do, man? We going to stand there and take it or what? Okay, you can say that all you want to, brother. I'm repeating what I see, brother. You know what? You also underestimate. Man, you know what? I'm glad you guys are doing it, bro. Just like the civil rights movement, it started out small. All of this is new life for them. This is a lot of the college kids now. They have a noble pursuit now, and it's not just going to be blacks. You're going to see a bunch of other races joining that fight. They're going to protest these schools, man. What do you think college game day is? It's a bunch of fucking liberals. K-State, how about that? Go to K-State. You're going to have all of these players too. You're going to see players not wanting to play for Tennessee. Then what they're going to do, if they can't get talent, they're already the worst. You might see that. I mean, I hope the brother who's the quarterback up there, I think he wasn't going to make it up there. And I said that. Cam Ward, I said he wasn't going to make it. Yeah, I said that's Tennessee, man. It's hard to be a black quarterback. They didn't like Steve McNair. They would prefer to have Neil O'Donnell. Racism runs deep up there, brother. So it might be a blessing in disguise if he can get traded, because you're gonna see a lot of black players leave that school. I mean, leave that team. And you know how the NFL is. NFL is a bunch of liberals. So what are they gonna do? They might move the team. They might. NFL can do what they want. That's their franchise. They can move the team. And all of these weak, I mean, you sit back, you listen to a talk radio. I don't even know who's on there. You listen to Glenn Beck, you listen to these buffoons, and they say something stupid like, we're going to stop watching the NFL. Yeah, okay. They don't care. You don't have any money. They get their money in all the other states. They don't care. We're going to stop watching. We're going to protest this. They don't give a damn about your protest. They don't give a damn about your protest. And this racist right here, your daughter's going to suck. You know what she's going to do. You stupid racist. This guy's in my chat box saying racist stuff to me. Yeah, I'm a different type. I'm a little bit different. I'm a little bit type of dude. That's not going to work with me. You sound like a victim. Stop it, weak man. Stop talking about race. Get your ass out of here. Is that why they stole those districts? It was about the race of the people. I mean, it was about the morality of the people, character. You know what? Now you get to stay, bro. You get to stay. You might actually learn something, Hubert. You might actually learn something. It's discriminate against someone. Somebody runs into the back of you at a stoplight, and you get out and complain about your car being damaged, and then they roll their window down and say, "Hey, man, stop being a victim. What you stop being? Why you complaining?" They'll say anything to black people too. That's the dumbest fucking. You're a victim. They say anything to blacks, man. You know what? It works with some of them, but no, it's not gonna work with those college kids. And that's the wrong little demographic. Them the wrong. You want to talk about rebel without a cause? What do you think they are? You just gave them a cause. You gave them nobility. You just gave it to them. You should have thought twice about it. Should we redistrict these deals? I don't know, because we could lose money. Companies, businesses can leave. But what about our universities? We need to be able to have a recruiting class. See, so don't tell me South Carolina didn't say that. Don't tell me South Carolina, the people didn't reach out to the schools and say, is it a good idea? You know what? They took time. They actually had a caucus on it. They took time to research, and they decided not to do it. Tennessee said, fuck it. And they're going to pay. Now the school, they're going to lose a lot of players. And they may lose the Titans. I personally think they'll lose the Titans. They're not winning. And that's still the NFL. The NFL about that money. And if NFL look at that and say, why are we sending our players up here to this school, this team, the racism, we just had to take the number one pick and transfer him because he even told us about the racism there. Bro, they'll move that team. How many people live in Tennessee because of the Tennessee Titans? Oh, in NFL, that's some money. Bro, they pay you big. They pay you more than they should. There ain't no broke people messing with that team. If they move that team, you know how much money that's going to cost them? They're liberals. See, what they ignore is the money. The liberals have the money. And I was, we're going to do something on Trump not taking any black people over to China. He took a bunch of billion, all of them were white. How about that? He took a bunch of white people with him. That's very racist what he did. And the Chinese man didn't even meet him. He disrespected him. And why if they don't like, just think about that for a minute though. Trump sits back here and tells you how bad China is. Yet he's like a goddamn schoolgirl. Taking all his schoolgirl friends to China. Why, if it's so bad, why does everybody want to go? I thought they were a bad place to be. Elon took his kid there. Elon, you took your kid to China, Elon? Maybe you've been lying. See, and they lie to the stupid. They lie to these bigots and racists, and they feed them garbage. They don't even want to be here. They give them a Confederate flag, and they go to fucking China. They take their wives and kids to China. But they tell these buffoons that, oh, China's a terrible place. Well, why you want to go? Why you want to go? And that has always been the knock against the South. People don't like the South. They say the South is stupid. That's why they don't like the Yankees. They say the Yankees talk about us real bad just because we got our Southern accents. Just because we like to sleep with our slaves and we have thick Georgia accents. I don't agree with that. I'm talking about the sleeping with the slaves part. I don't have a problem with the accents. I'm from the South. But I do know why they hate the North. I do know why they hate them. They do. And it's transferred even in that college. That college, the South. When the SEC is really, it's like a reinvention of the Civil War. North versus the South. And for the longest, with Nick Saban, the South would win. But if you start losing that talent, man, if you start losing that talent, that's going to impact you in so many ways. It's going to affect your money. Let me see. Hubert, let me do something. I'm going to drop the link. Hubert, I'll give you a chance to say that. How about that? There you go. Now watch this guy. I'm going to put the join link in there, Hubert. If you want to talk about that, come on. I'll discuss it with you. I'm giving you a chance to help. Okay, you help me, brother. Help the community. Come on. Let's discuss those topics. Here we go. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Hubert. You're not going to come, but I was going to let you know, Hubert, if you came, after you got through discussing single motherhood and all that, we're going to have a discussion about racism and see what your opinion is about that. Or are you going to call this out? Or are you going to call out the blatant racism that we're living under? Are you going to ignore it? Are you going to ignore it? You're going to ignore it. You're going to ignore it. When all is said and done, you're going to see an exodus of black talent out of the SEC, not just in football, just in basketball. And when you lose that, you no longer have you don't have a program. And when you lose your program, how are you going to pay for this and that? Not to mention all your professors. You're going to lose all of these people. These coaches, you're not going to be able to pay your coaches. If you reduce the University of Alabama to a division school, how are they going to function? How are they going to function? They're not going to be able to make it. They won't be able to make it. You don't see, let me tell you something about racism. The whole point of the racism is you don't have any power. That's the whole point is not to make you fair and equal. It's to rob you of your rights, just like they're doing, rob you of your representation, but you still make them money. And you're talking, you're out of your mind. If you think those football players are going to do that, if you think their peer groups, within their peers, you think within a peer group, a black football player who's being contacted by athletes on other teams and suggesting that, hey man, you being slaved out. Hey man, you letting them white boys slave you out. How you gonna play for that school, man? You letting them white boys, okay? You know what? I'm gonna be quiet because you guys think that ain't gonna, peer pressure, that don't matter. Nah, that's not gonna happen. Hey man, I already talked to coach, man. You can come down here today. I already talked to coach. You gonna stay there and play for that school, man? Let them white folks slave you out. Let them white folks disrespect your ancestors. Let them white folks treat you any kind of way. You gonna stay playing? I'm telling you, they're gonna leave. Oh, player, you know what you're talking about. Okay, we'll see then. You probably right. I don't know what I'm talking about. NIL, but see, you got to understand, the NIL money, they can get that wherever they go. Yeah, it's going to be listen, there'll be players for Alabama, and they'll get NIL money, but they're not going to be top players. That's what you got to understand. They're going to be guys who playing for fucking Army. Their recruits going to come from Army and fucking Navy. Them guys can't play no ball, man. And they certainly can't play no ball in the SEC. They certainly can't go up against they can't play against USC, UCLA, Ohio State. They'll be out for the season. They'll be out. They're too weak. You're not going to get a competitive team. You can't field a competitive team. And when the coaches complain, what do you think the people who are elected do? They're going to have to say, hey, we got to change this shit. We tried, but we failed. We got to change it. The people don't want it to be this way. Now, we've seen LSU turn, Louisiana said, even though the district, they voted not. They voted not to go the way of some. I don't know what they did, but they voted against it. South Carolina voted against it. They sat down, thought about it, looked at the big picture, and said, overall, we'll keep it the way it is. They said that they would revisit it, but they said, right now, we're going to keep it the way it is. All those states that changed, they fucked up. They screwed up. Now they're going to have to pay for that. Now they're going to have to deal with the recruits leaving them, the money. And once it catch fire, it hadn't caught fire yet. It's beginning. What do you think these companies going to do? And how are you going to justify it? How is Trump going to say with a straight face it's okay to deny people representation? And how is he going to, what is he going to say? If it's wrong, if it's unfair and it's racist, which it is, and they're going to show them the dish. They'll say, well, they said they weren't going to go by race, but that's exactly what they did. How are you going to say, okay, you go play for Alabama like a slave, let them make money off of you, and as soon as they're done with you, they can toss you away? That's a mistake. Yeah, they said if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. We should just give them what they think they want. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, that's a different. But yeah, they don't know. They're going to know now. And this new civil rights movement, which is what it's going to become. It wasn't really necessarily that way with King, but it's going to be more of a school or athlete-based movement. You got all of these athletes. You got the Shannon Sharp. What do you think they're going to do with their platform? You think they're not going to reach out to those guys? You think they're not going to plant forward that movement? Ryan Clark, you think he's going to sit on his hands and say it's okay for people's voting rights to be diluted? See, the white supremacist doesn't understand black people. He thinks black people are going to go quietly into the night and accept his racism. No, they're not. They're not. We're not even talking about those damn Yankees. Lane Kiffin. You know what I'm talking about? They're going to leave. They're going to, okay, man. All right. Okay, man. Okay. Who's going to work at those data centers? The Klan? Because that's probably the only people going to go up in there, man. It's all types of cancer and stuff. Nobody going in there. Yeah, hey, Elon, get your little boy, give your little boy a job at a data center. Nobody want to get that stuff. That's toxic ass shit. Nobody want to be around that. Here we go. Here we go. Stop the cap. What has the Democrats? Well, what has the Republicans done for them? No. What has the Republicans done for them? These people try to blame their racism on one party. What about the Republicans? They ain't done shit for black people. What has the Democrats done? What have the Republicans done? What are they doing? They're in power. What are they doing now? It's like to me, they're turning the clock back. This is when you just blinded with racism. This guy right here. This is what happens when you're blinded with racism. What has the Democrats done for black people? Okay. I'm not arguing with that. What has the Republicans done for them? So if you say neither party has done a damn thing for black people, well, what difference does it make? So they vote for the Democrat. The Republicans ain't going to do nothing for them. The Democrats don't do nothing for them. And it looks like you ain't going to get your your Dixieland world recreated for you. It looks like it's not going to work that way. Isn't that something, bro? They got a lot of little lines to try to get you to vote the wrong way and destroy your power. What the Democrats done for you? Meanwhile, I don't want you Negroes to have the vote of voting. But hey, man, wait a minute. But you said the Democratic Party, what are they done? Well, you finna take my goddamn right to vote. You don't like the Yankees, Lane Kiffin, he's down there at LSU. He said he hated being at that university. What has the Confederacy done for you? What has the South done for you? What has you being a Southern racist Confederate? What has that done for you? Because it looks like it's going to be the worst thing for you because you think this thing is going to bubble up and you're going to lose that money. You know you need that money. And who the hell wants to? I go work for the NFL today. The NFL they starting you out with about $500,000 a year. And all the perks. You get all the games, playoffs. Who wouldn't want to work for the NFL? And I'm telling you, they're going to take that team out of Tennessee. Then what you going to do? You're going to have a big old hole in the ground. What you going to have? You a Hank Williams Jr. concert? He could have on his boots. And you could watch him get red, watch him get drunk, and pluck a guitar. No thanks. Yeah, let old hammering Hank, he'll save you. Okay, well, let me show you what you are. He said, I'm not white. That's a lie. You are. No, let's go with what you said. I'm not white. I'm not in the South. Oh, okay. I'm not disabled. And I'm a proud Black American. What does it have to do with the topic? Oh, I am disabled. Okay. Once again, what does that have to do with the topic? Why are you in here disturbing and bothering us? Take your, I'm not white, take your anti-Black hatred, because that's what you are, to the dungeon. There you go. You're in the dungeon now. Get your ass out of here. It is bigot. These people are bigots and racists, and they anti-Black. They just don't want to see Black people treated equal and fair. They cool with this. You would think there should be a movement of whites that's out protesting, saying, we let those Black people vote for who they want to vote for. Why you want to tell Black people who to vote for? But we'll see. Game day is a bunch of liberals. CBS, all of those networks. Oregon, that's a liberal country. SEC just don't have, SEC, you just don't have the numbers. You're one conference in college football. If you lose your best talent, you just became the MAC conference. You're gonna be Bowling Green. Georgia, you're gonna become NIU. It's not the same competition and you're going to lose. I don't even have to, that ain't even a predict. They're going to hop in the portal. Also, if you're another coach, why wouldn't you say it? If you coach for Penn State, why wouldn't you go to Georgia and take their best players? Why wouldn't you say it? I'm just serious. Why wouldn't you say, hey, before you make a commitment to Georgia, or if you want to transfer, come to Penn State. We'll give you everything Georgia's giving you, and we'll get that racist label off you. You don't want to play for that school. You don't want to play. All right, man. Okay, you can believe what you want to. You guys don't keep up with sports. You don't really know. You guys have no concept of college sports. You don't know what recruiting is. You just don't know. You're woefully ignorant, and you're going to pay for what they're going to pay for what they did. They're going to pay for what they did. And I hope Chud gets let go. Let him go. Free that man. Go out here and incite people and inflame people's emotions. Okay. If you think that's good, racism, it's been proven is bad for business. But willfully engage in it, man, and think it's okay, man. These Negroes, they don't know. They don't know. Isn't Dion Shadur, isn't one of his big deals, he's all in the cities? Somebody was saying that they may start Deshaun Watson. And one of the people said, well, they're going to have to do something about the city of Cleveland. And he said, that man has already endeared himself to the city of Cleveland. They love him. And he said, that city of Cleveland, they're not going to sit back. You know, if Deshaun is winning, yeah, but they're saying this thing that they went through, they want to see Shadur. And Shadur does a lot in the community. That's where he wants to be. He don't want to be out there with the yacht club and all of that. He wants to be right there in the community with the regular people. The kids love him. That's just Shadur. You think a player like that's going to sit back and let his community be disrespected? And he's out there making money for the school? But see, they hope he's like, that's what they hope. That's what they hope. And we'll see. We'll see. He said, do you want a special district? We got one. They already did. See, this is what they do. They practice racism, then accuse you of somehow being a victim or doing it. They just did it. They just redistrict by race. Do you want a special district? You got one. I want the same thing you got, okay? I want exactly what you got. You have no concept of good and evil. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I know evil, Mr. Racist. And that's where you would fall, Mr. Racist. It's Democrat stuff. That's you. See, you're a white dude, right? You're a racist white dude. You're a Democrat. I don't care what you are. Don't pin that shit on me, man. They try to come in with their racism, both good cop, bad cop. I'm the good cop. I'm a Republican, bad cop, Democrat. You guys too racist, bro. You don't have my support. You keep trying to pin that Democrat shit on me. Don't pin that on me. That's you. That's your game. Nah, don't pin that on me, bro. I'm a black man. See, you keep trying to play that game. You think I'm a Democrat. You want me to be a liberal. You don't want me to be a Democrat. You really want me to be a liberal. Not a fucking liberal, man. I know what a woman is. We can stop right there. So until they figure that out, if they still confused about that, yeah, you're right. I'm not a fucking liberal and I'm not a Democrat. I know what a woman is. And I don't want some new age definition. I'll go by the Webster definition. I'm cool with that. You are a racist, sir. That's what you are. You hate black people. You try to hide behind calling them Democrats, but you really hate them. That's really what you hate. You don't like the Democrats. Of course you don't like Democrats. They're not bigots and racists like what you are. They used to be, but they're not. They don't really walk around talking about we hate black people. But you do. And your actions speak louder than words. You diluted their right to vote. And you think these players are going to sit on that. We'll see. We'll see. You can say whatever you want. You think they're going to sit back and let you take their right to vote and disrespect them as a man? I'm a man. Isn't that what the sign said? You know what? They should go get some placards and walk around. Isn't that what the civil rights, when the guy got the lightning hit whatever happened to the guy, The garbage truck closed, and they were back trying to eat, and they got crushed, and they had signs saying, "I am a man." And they were saying, to treat me the way you treat us, you don't treat us like we're men. They should do it. Go get those signs, those placards, especially you're the top recruit. If you're the top recruit for Alabama, you're the top recruit for Tennessee, put a placard on. Do it right there at the school. You the top recruit, put "I am a man." And challenge them to take a second look at their racism. Challenge them, say, "No, I haven't transferred, but I'm challenging you to take a look at your racism. Why do you want to do this to me? Why can't black people vote for whom they choose?" Let them say what they want to say, then transfer. And you did it with nobility on your side. Let them let the Chad the Butler, the baby Chad the Builders come out. Come on. Come on out, man. Come on out. Hang out. And that's what the city's going to be reduced to, a bunch of Chad the Butler. And somebody, I don't know, allegedly some black dude piped out his old lady. And see, that's why a lot of these white dudes, they call you Democrats, because they know you're going to pipe. They know they're going to lose their old lady to you. And they've always hated you because you're a black man. And they know you're going to bone out their daughters and bone out their wives. And they hide their racism, but try to call you a Democrat or something. Like you behind the curtain. You don't know who they vote for. And they want you to look at fat asses like Trump and Sean Hannity and Glenn Beck and call them men. They want you to call them men. Are you joking? You got to be joking, right? That's your idea what an alpha male is? Trump can't even walk down a fucking flight of stairs. And they don't like that. But there's some Negroes out there, though. They do look up to him. I get the whole male thing. I get all of that. But no, you can't have my rights, man. I mean, I agree with you. I know what a woman is, but no, you don't get to have my rights. And also, you don't get to do it to me and I can't say something back. I'm not a good Negro. See, that's what they want you to be, a good nigga, and stay in your place. That's not going to happen. And you see, bro, I'm telling you, okay. But remember, you did it to yourself, okay? You opened up that can of worms. You did it. When I'm not in college. When those guys stop, when you start seeing those recruits go down to LSU, and you really don't want Lane Kiffin, you do not want to. That is a damn Yankee. That is a damn Yankee. Lane Kiffin, you don't give a damn about no racism, no white supremacy. That's the wrong guy. You finna empower him. That's the wrong guy. You know it. You got, and he okay. He's a quality coach, but yeah, he'll take Alabama and Georgia talent like that. He'll take that like that, and he will see, he ain't afraid. He'll sit right at a game day. He'll go on a ESPN and tell them those schools are a bunch of what happened is racist, and I don't believe in it. But you're welcome to come to LSU. We got dinner on the stove waiting. Come on. You think he'll do it in a minute? Man, you gotta be. Lane Kiffin is an asshole. You think he won't do that? You think Lane is on some racial solidarity? He don't fuck with them. He don't fuck with them now. When he was at Ole Miss, he didn't fuck. He don't fuck with it. He's not with that. Man, y'all gotta understand. Everybody ain't like. He ain't with that good old boy club bullshit. Lane Kiffin don't move like that. Okay. All right. We'll see, right? Lane Kiffin ain't with that good old boy BS, brother. And I'm telling you, he's going to take a lot of those players. And a lot of those players who can't transfer, they're going to sit out for the year. And they're going to make their voices heard. And that's going to do. And the SEC already was problematic. They don't hire black coaches. They still got all that South stuff running around. They're a bunch of bigots and racists. They are. Now this is going to put a spot. They're going to put a magnifying glass on it now. Now this is going to put a magnifying glass. And I pray the Chad the Butler Juniors come out and start calling black people racial names. Thank you. Because it's going to put a magnifying glass on all this stuff. Come on. Show your racism. Because you say you're not racist. Put on your MAGA hat and start dropping N-bombs and have a pistol in your pocket. Come on. Here you go, trying to pin slavery on the Democrats. Slavery was an American problem, and it was based on race. I don't even know why the slaves didn't vote. I see too, man. I see they had to get out of that, bro. The stupidity of these ignorant, what are they, that MAGA? Are you MAGA? With these weak ass arguments. Ugh. And the guy was getting, I told him I didn't believe that, MAGA meth heads, but man, listen to what they're saying. MAGA opioids, opioids. MAGA meth head is better though. It's just, that has a ring to it. MAGA meth heads. Yeah, because you want us to accept your racism, and I'm not going to accept your racism. I found my way, brother. And I hope these athletes and these recruits find their way out of those schools. And if you think it's not going to have a domino effect, if you think after losses, they're going to have to change, man. They're going to have to appeal to the community and say, we cannot do this to our black constituents. We can't do this to our black brothers and sisters in this state. They're going to have to redraw those lines. They're going to have to redraw those lines. But a lot of them, the damage that they cause, they'll never get it. It was not going to be healed in our lifetime, not in our lifetimes. Not in our lifetimes. The only racists are the people crying about racism. Yeah, that makes no sense. Those would be, so the victims are the racists. I got you. Yeah, that's that MAGA thing. That's that MAGA meth head mentality that you have. If you complain about racism, you're a racist. So if you discriminate against, so what? My American right, I can discriminate. You complaining, you're a racist. Bro, you guys say some of the dumbest shit. We're going to see it over and over again, brother. He done bought old ass Morgan Freeman. I actually like Morgan Freeman when he was, I think he was Easy Reader. He used to be on Zoom. He had an afro. He was in his 70s. He was in his bullshit. He was clean. I actually like Morgan Freeman. Actually, Zoom was cool. Zoom was very cool. Whoever thought that up? Zoom was so much better than Sesame Street. Sesame Street, Sesame Street, it had a, but Zoom, man, Zoom was just cool, man. I don't know who created that, but no, my fault. The electric company, my fault. I said Zoom. I don't even know why I said Zoom, but electric company, that's what, the electric company. Yeah, that was the cool one, man. What they say? I'm trying to think of how it came on. It said, The electric company. I'm trying to see, how did it start out? The electric company. The electric company. What was it? How did it start out? Come on down. I think it was after Sesame Street. It was, man, it was cool, man. And Morgan was on the electric company. Morgan was a member of the electric company. And if you go and look back at those people, man, I went and looked back, I say probably 10, 12 years ago. And they married each other and everything, man. They're old on there. Hey, you guys! That was it. It would start off, and Sesame Street would go off, and then it would come on, and she said, "Hey, you guys!" Yeah, and it was the electrical. Man, I don't know who picked that up, man, but whoever put that together, that was great, man. I don't know what gave them the idea to do it like that. But and Morgan Freeman. Now you I ain't brought up no Morgan Freeman. You did. He was on there. He said, "We're gonna sing you a song. We're gonna sing you a song." Now, man, I had to go to YouTube and listen. I don't forgot about that, man. I don't forgot about that. If you had a kid brother, a kid sister, man, you know, maybe you used to watch Sesame Street, but maybe you felt like you was too old to watch that, which means you still watched it. You just acted like they were watching it. But yeah, that somebody must have said we need to have a little something for older kids. And that electric company, man, and that's how he got his character. That's Morgan Freeman. That's was his start. I think he had like a bit in a film, but he created the Easy Reader, which, you know, would be considered racist. his character. Ain't that something you couldn't even have? That's crazy, man. You couldn't have a guy dressed up like a pimp with a children's book. Ah, man, the community, they lose their mind on that, wouldn't it? I didn't consider it that way, though. I didn't. It was a great. Those were the days. You know, I feel so sorry for this generation. I mean, what are they? Alpha generation, whatever they call themselves, millennials or whatever. These people, I say, millennials. I feel so sorry for them because they didn't have a childhood. Look, man, you guys can say what you want and be MAGA and Joe Biden and Bill Clinton and Ronald. You can say what you want. When I was a kid, the country gave a damn. They gave a damn about me. And I'm looking back, my country gave a damn. They cared for me. My country gave a fuck about me as a kid. They took care of me. They knew I was a kid. They treated me as a kid. And as I got older, they treated me like that. My country, man, my country cared about me. They don't give a damn about them now. That's crazy when you think about it. They'll throw you a fucking tablet and say, there you go. That's it? They say, yeah, you get a tablet. Man, that's crazy, man, when I think about it. I'm so happy that they cared about my generation, brother. Now they just throw you a tablet and say, be gone. Okay. Yeah, the food was real, man. They talk about the food was bigger too. It was a different type of meat. They say a McDonald's cheeseburger back in the day was a real cheeseburger. You know, the Coke was stronger. This stuff they got now, it's a recipe, but it's not the same. It had more bite to it. And they say you mostly got to go to it if you can go to, and they still have those. They still got those bottled Cokes that you get from the machine. They still got those. If you travel in the South, especially inside the South, you'll come across a store, it'll have gas, and right there on the side, it'll be those, you know what I'm saying, them Cokes where you got to pull it out. It's in a bottle in there. You reach in there, you pull it out. Yeah, those things are sweet. Those things, they're a special type. That's a Southern recipe that you probably, if you've never had, you'd love. But if you had it, it will bring back memories of those days. He said my generation didn't care about the next. I don't know if you could put that on my. I don't know what you mean by that. That is absurd. But I don't even know why he would even say something like that. But you could make a case, man, that most people would. They would look around at the schools. Man, I'm serious. If a person of a certain age can look around at the schools and know and say, "Damn, you guys don't care." They don't. They don't. I don't know why. Another thing we didn't have is those stinking ass pickup lines. We didn't have. Well, then we didn't have any money, so we rode the bus, but we rode the school bus. But yeah, you see all of these pickup lines, man. I hate. Well, first of all, you can't drive around them. They in the way. You gotta get out a goddamn can opener to try to drive by them. And you see them everywhere, man. All these private schools, these charter schools. There was an old furniture store. They tore that down and put up a charter school. And you see the cars and stuff all out there. Trump's America, you'll have a mass migration of black players. Oh, and Trump, please, President Trump, please open up your mouth and put your foot right in it when you start attacking those. Oh, good Lord. That's going to be heaven. That will literally be heaven. If he does that, oh, man, he starts calling them names. It's over. The South, you can close the South. I hope somebody can get to him and say, President, Mr. President, please, Mr. President, if he starts attacking you guys want to lead the South? You're a bunch of losers. Man, if he does that, you know what he's going to do? He's going to unify them. That's all he's going to do. He's going to unify them. So for his sake and the sake of the South, I hope he doesn't do it. Like the stream, brother. He said, I ain't boycott. Look, you know this dude's a racist. I ain't boycotting shit. Look how he spelled it. That's some race. And this is the thing. This is the thing, right? Because Stormfront, right? What is up with East B? I'm serious. You don't have to change. You don't have to like me. Think whatever you want about me. But East B, can you tell me what is this thing that you guys have with making fun of black people? I mean, like, does that that's a thing for you guys? I ain't boycotting shit. Fuck you, Democrat House niggas. Why do you guys do that? Because it's worse than that. You guys do the whole conversation. It'll say Ma. I've read it. I've been on Stormfront. I used to go there a lot. Oh man, what's this? This is 2026. I haven't been there in a while, but yeah, I used to go. It wasn't a YouTube back in the day. I used to go to Stormfront. I found it very interesting. They have one of the pages was Chimp Out page. You go to the page, and they talk about black people who've done crazy, and then cops are on. A lot of cops on there. And they used to have what they would say, white women. They would always say, "My mouth made for," and they misspell made for. It'll be FOE. My mouth made for white. It'll be WHIT. Women with an E. Women's. And I said, well, what grown man sits back and just does? Yeah, they would do that. I said, what's up? And people were saying the racism is about because of minstrel show. I looked at it. It said minstrel shows, you had to do them. the Confederates of the South made it law. You had to have them. So is that the thing? And on it, it was a mocking of black people. So is that where that's born from? That's why you guys want to make fun of black people? That's why you guys, like the way you wrote this, you went out your way out of your life and wrote this. You're a grown ass man. Is that what you want to do? Make jokes about, you got time in your life as an adult, probably with kids, to write mocking words about black people? And then you think I respect someone like that? I wouldn't respect a guy like you, man. I'm white, but I was raised in the projects in South Tampa. Okay. Congratulations. And I mean that. I mean it. You made it. Congratulations. You made it out of the South Tampa projects. Good for you, man. Good for you, man. You made it. Somebody in the chat said you ain't did shit. To a certain degree, they're right. You lived in the projects. What, you want, a cookie? Some rapper put out that song. What do you say? I was raised in the projects. Projects. I was raised in the project. I don't know the name of it. Who was that? Oh, that was Project Pat. That's what it was. Project Pat. Like the stream, man. The SEC's about to go bankrupt. That conference gonna have to it says black and basketball players in Power 5 conferences are estimated to lose 1.2 billion to 1.4 billion annually. Per player loss, approximately 250,000 per player per year. A scholarship gap, 24,000, indicates an elite SEC football player's fair market value could exceed $500,000. Many SEC programs carry significant debt, somewhere in the market of 400 to 500 million, $500 million. They're very, very vulnerable to revenue disruptions. The SEC generates a massive economic value for its member states. Visitor spending for the local economies. Estimated losses, when the mass exodus of black players, 1.3 billion. How's your racism sound now? Woo! They tried to be racist and they finna bite the bullet now. Woo, man, it's poetic justice, bro. What they say, God is good, man. What they say, God is good. They tried to be racist, man. Ran out there and redistrict. And now they finna lose all of this money. And now they got a bunch of stupid Chud the Builder types walking around talking about Fox News and MAGA hats. But you can't play football. You can't afford a ticket there. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You ran all the black football players, basketball players who generated all that money. You ran them out of here. They looking at the distribution. Tennessee got 72 million. This is paid. This is a year. Alabama 72. Oh, everybody got the same. Texas didn't get it. Oklahoma didn't get it this year. Oh, that was 2 years ago. My fault. They got it this year. So they're not going to get anything. They estimated spectator sports tourism to be 114 billion. They're going to lose that. Taxes 7.1 million per day. Annually 344 million in tax revenue. They're going to lose all of that. They're going to lose that. Cities like Tuscaloosa, Athens, Georgia, and Baton Rouge. Actually, it's Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. You know what? I know a thick man. Ooh, man. I met, ooh, man. She was, man, that chick was fine. She was thick. God, ooh, man. Blew my fucking mind, brother. But she didn't like dudes. I mean, she was a gay woman. And she told me that. I mean, she actually dated her. I said, still, I just want to take you out. I took her out, man. We had fun, we laughed, but we discussed that part, and she said, hey, I'm just not attracted to men. Man, that chick was so fine. And she said, they always say, she's all guys always talking about my legs and my body. She said, but I like girls. Oh, man, she lived in Baton Rouge, bro. That's when I learned how to say it then. Yeah, and there are more graphics on here. And we'll see what happens, man. We'll see. To the people who say it's not going to matter, it's going to matter. The bottom line is money and 1 billion in annual revenue. And if an elite group of 5-star recruits or starters were to sit out, it would have an immediate effect. And once again, they're in debt. They wouldn't be able to pay their bills. It would kill their television ratings. They don't want to put your team on there. You don't have stars. When you look at Texas, right? Arch Manning, you think people don't want to see him this year? You think people don't want to watch him play his last year in college football? He may be the first overall pick. You think they don't want to watch that? With a boycott, blackout, that's going to ruin the economies of many of these schools. Also, the counter is the racism of the people in those states who get mad at those players and say, who the hell do you think you are? Get your ass out of here, nigger. Man, I hope, please do it on a hot mic. Please. Please get recorded saying that. You'll have no black players. And we see that it costs money. You messing with the money now. You messing with the money now. And then what's going to happen? Like the stream, brother. He said, let's not just boycott. Keep talking. IB. Let's segregate. You hear that? Hey, you hear that? You hear that conservative black voter? You hear that? Eric. Did you hear that? Hey, Eric, did you hear what that guy just said? You trying to extend the olive branch. You're a conservative. You MAGA. You're a black conservative voter. He said, let's go to segregation. Now, what do you think about that? What do you think about that, black conservative? Is that what you want? You want to go to I think that includes you too, though, Mr. Conservative. I think that he's talking about you too. He's saying he wants to segregate the races, so you can be Mr. Black Conservative, but you got to get on the black bus. You got to get in the back of the bus. You got to get on the back of the bus. And somebody said they take their own seasoning when they go to the tailgates. You might, yeah. I mean, why not? Why not take your own seasoning? Actually, man, see, I mean, we're in the middle of all of this racism because of the Supreme Court. Actually, going to a tailgate at an SEC school, because you might have kids at the school, or maybe, you just a fan. I'm not gonna say, I'd say half of the tailgaters, they always cook more than they are going to eat. And yeah, they will let you have a rib, man. They'll let you have a rib, man. They'll let you have a rib, a hamburger. And if you say you're a Tennessee Volunteer fan, the first time they meet you, they'll give you a rib. The second game, if you good people, you're respectful people, they'll see you, they'll have a rib for you. The third time you're a Tennessee fan, they know you're a Tennessee fan, they'll take care of you, man. Next thing you know, you having whole fucking meals. You're like, man, you don't need to give me. He'll take care of you, man. But that was before all this racism. Now, Trump wants us to be at each other's throat. Okay, Trump. That's what you want. Okay, that's what you want. You want us to hate each other. Okay. You may get your wish. You may get your wish. What's up with your Hutch?
What's going on, Black man? You've been covering this stuff, man.
Hey, I think I set it off, though. I was the first person to say it, though, wasn't it?
You wanted to, man. Yeah, I have to give it up to you, though, because ain't nobody
Ground zero. Ground zero.
You know.
I'm
like, man, I'm impressed, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, because you calling it out. But man, here's the thing, man. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at all this stuff going on. I don't know, man. It's just it's so much money involved, man. People are just so enamored with like trying to get out of their situation. I don't know if you can convince, man, some of these star athletes to protest. That's a hard ask, bro.
Hutch, if it was one or two, but you got to also understand the community, right? What you got to understand about the community is the pressure, and see, it's the demographic. You would say it's going to be a bunch of poor people complaining, right? The vote don't count. Well, I would agree. They don't have any power, but and I think they're going to get the athletes because the athletes are dealing with them. See, the athlete, it's going to be some schools where there's some schools where nobody from the local community is on the teams, right?
True.
It's going to be some teams like that, but they know each other. That's the difference is this. When you look at someone like a Shannon Sharp, he can help, he can platform them. So they may have a small following. Say somebody at the University of Ole Miss, say he's a cornerback. Sharp can platform him and let him speak what he thinks about the school. And if the school tries to retaliate, it's going to be in his favor. You see what I'm saying? See, so all of a sudden now, just like the dude came in with all of that racial speak, trying to pretend to be a black person, their racism, they have to act on it. It's not passive. They're not going to sit and be passive racist. They're actively racist. They're going to call you a nigger. They're going to want to start a fight. They're going to harass your family because that's what a racist is. That's what a racist does. So this is the wrong time for this thing came at the wrong time because these athletes, it's going to build up. It's going to have a domino effect. All it takes right now is the biggest. I don't know who the top recruit is for Georgia, but all it would take is him. That would be the spark. That's all it takes for him to say, I'm not going to play this year because of what you did to this state. He said, I believe in fairness, and what you did was unfair. And I'm not going to sit up here and listen to foolishness about you didn't use race or discriminate against these people. You don't want these people to have a voice. And let me tell you something. If he's the top pick in Georgia, he don't have to play. He got to play. Look, man, let's be for real. Look, if Arch screws it up, okay, he won't be the first overall pick. But if he just did what he did last year, it's guaranteed. So my point was this: by somebody being the top pick of Georgia, it's a matter of time. They just gotta wait, and when the day comes, they'll be drafted high. But yeah, he can sit this whole year out. He's still gonna be a top professional football player. It's not gonna matter.
Yeah, maybe like a Arch, man. He had some, but he already played a previous year though. So I'm looking at if you got like what this this new finances associated with the college athletes, man. Some of these guys are getting paid more here than they will ever make. If they even make it to the pros, they'll get paid more here than they will in the pros. So I'm like, maybe Arch Man is not a good example. Maybe it's another guy that's coming in that's in the SEU school playing for like Alabama or something like that.
You know what?
I think it's a large ask.
Arch Manning, nobody's asking Arch Manning, but I swear, if Arch Manning announced he's leaving Texas and he's going to Ohio State or he's going to Michigan and he's refusing to, let me tell you something. He said, I'm not playing this year because I don't want to play under these circumstances. Man, that man, he'd be the next president. Mm-hmm. He'd be the next president. He would unite the races, and he would throw a thumb at these politicians. And really, nobody likes politicians either way. He would be throwing a giant bird at politicians. And he's white, so they couldn't throw all of these names. He's not a Democrat, and he's a son of the South. Archie Manning's grandson. His brother, he would be Arch, you can pave your way. You all of a sudden it was a sin, and you should do it. If I don't know you, if I knew you, I'd say you need to do it. You need to do it, Arch. If these Negroes don't want to do it, you do it. You lead the way. You open up the pearly gates and say, you part the sea. I'm gonna part the SEC, and you don't need Arch. You don't need the South. They're gonna hold you back in there. You don't need them. Leave. Go to USC. Get away from these rebels.
Now, the other thing, though, too, I'm gonna look at too, though, is like the college circuit, man. The schools that are in the SEC. I mean, is that truly reflective of what the state legislators are doing as well, too? I mean,
it is from a business standpoint, Hutch. From a business standpoint, the pie has already been cut up. So they already get underpaid. Where does the money go? It goes to the school. So basically you're supporting a school and the blacks in that state receive nothing from it. So you're saying they don't even want you to be free. They don't even want you to have the right to vote. And you want me to come out here and play. And man, and we don't even need to begin. They need those players. They need good players, man. One good player, a good wide receiver can be the difference between a winning season and a losing season. If you took Arch Manning's top receivers, they're not going to be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The guys he got now will probably be first-round picks.
I mean, I hear what you're saying on that stuff, man. I'm just trying to tie it into like, all right, so the success of, like a University of Texas or Alabama. Now I know those schools typically will be a means of commerce for the local the town that they're actually located in. Because like a lot of times, like there is a huge source of employment, for the local towns, and they're bringing in tourist dollars and all that other stuff from when they're playing locally and people are coming into town. But realistically, do they have really much a huge influence on like what the actual state legislature are doing like statewide? Because like in order to redistrict these states, man, they're getting the governor has to sign off on it, and the legislator has to put forth a bill in order to redistrict. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm just trying to see like how, you know,
Hutch,
like,
they can do it when they want to do it. And
hmm
um, just like they changed them, they could like they didn't change them, they can change them. And the problem is the money. The university, it's money. If you're a business person, you're going to talk to people about how to make your business better. You're generating tax revenue. And if you say, hey,
hmm
all of this racial stuff is bad for my business, can we cut it down?
hmm
And if they say, well, we want it like that, then you'll just move your business because you can't make business if they want it like that. So if you miss, it's going to happen. If you
okay,
miss out on a top recruit, and he says, and they're going to do this. And let me say this, they could be lying. They could be lying, but they're going to say, I'm not going to Ole Miss, I'm not going to Mississippi State, I'm not going to Alabama, I'm not going to Georgia because of what they're doing with the legislation as far as voting and weakening things for black people. I can't do it.
okay,
Now, I'll forget him. Okay. What about when it starts to add up?
okay.
Then
So
what you go, hold up, and you got to pay your coach. You got a coach. The guy from LSU that they fired, right? They hired Lane. I don't know what he's getting, but they hired the guy, Chuck. I mean, what was his name? Anyhow, Jim Kelly something. I don't know his first
mhm,
name. Anyhow, they fired him. They owe him like 40 million. The guy from
mm,
Penn State, I think they owe him 75 million. So how you gonna
a
pay
lot.
these guys if you're not generating money with your football team? You see what I'm saying? So that means you can't afford to pay your coaches.
Okay. All right. So if I'm understanding you correctly, like the logic here is that not only will these star college athletes bring awareness to it, but because if they're not playing, it's going to financially affect the local economy, and that should go ahead and flare out to the general population to go ahead and affect what the legislator's doing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
When
I
you
got
go, if you went to a college football game, say you went to LSU,
you. Hmm.
before LSU, you may stop off at a place to eat in Louisiana.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you might get a hotel in Louisiana. Then you
Yeah.
may watch the game. You're going to frequent the concessions. That's ticket concessions. Then
Hmm.
after that, paying for parking. Say you rent a car, while you're there. Then you might stay a couple of days. All
Yep.
that is money into the economy. If you cut that out, it adds up.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
And
I
if
see
that
what you're saying.
and the NFL is not one to play with, NFL, you don't want to play with the NFL. They'll take that team. It's not winning. They'll take that team out of Tennessee.
Mm.
They'll take that team, put it somewhere else.
So you gonna put it on the NFL players too? You think they should do the same
It
thing?
is. It is. It's gonna go all up. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see. You'll see. The right people are picking it up on it, and it's basically a recreation of the civil rights movement. But they got themselves to blame for it. They should have never done it. You want to see
Mm.
black people out in the streets with "I am a man" signs, sandwich signs. You want to see black people marching, saying they want to be treated like white people. They want the same rights. You're about to see that.
And let me ask like this, and this is not a question from ignorance. It's just a question for perspective. Do you think that Trump and the current Republicans are redistricting strictly on the basis of race, or is it that they're trying to maintain power for their party at all costs?
Oh, they're
Like,
doing it only on race, because if they left the black people in one group,
mhm.
that would be the group they in. They're trying to dilute the vote. If they said, okay, we're gonna take this district and we're gonna wrap it in a district with uh 40 40%. Say there's 1 million blacks,
Mhm.
and they said we're gonna put you in. We're gonna merge your district with this district. In this district is 650,000 whites. That would not be going by
Mhm.
race. You see what I'm saying? But by them deliberately going, let's put 30% black in this district. Let's create another district, 30%. Let's add 30%. You just separated it by race. You're saying you're not. And they always do this. They always say that they always do
Yeah, I get
exactly
what you're
what they
saying.
say they ain't supposed to do. Yeah, they do it. That's exactly what they did.
You know, and I looked at that too. It's like I looked at the ruling um, that the Supreme Court came up with, and it said that you shouldn't be able to set, your districts by race, and then I see them separating them on the basis of race, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and that's what I'm
all right.
saying.
But
No,
here's
and South
go ahead.
Carolina didn't do it, and LSU didn't do it. So if you're a SEC guy, if you're a guy in the South, go to those schools. You can go to South Carolina. South Carolina lost 2 games. They lost. They lost to Texas. There was a Mississippi. One of them. Anyhow, they lost 2 games. Um,
Mhm.
LSU. They got Lane Kiffin. They're going to have a good school. They have always been accused of taking each other's players. Now he just left Ole Miss. I hope he gets that quarter. I hope that quarterback transfers if he hasn't
Right.
already transferred. So you go in and you take the talent, and they should do it. Because, and those schools, it's going to affect those communities. Those communities are overall going to lose money.
Right. Right. Now here's the thing that I was looking at as well too. And this is the argument, the biggest pushback argument you're always going to have. It's the alliance between Democrat voting and black voting. It's like it's so aligned, and I think that's why they're allowed to get away with such a this. Is that their excuses that the Supreme Court allowed them to say is that you can go ahead and redistrict with the excuse being that you're doing it because of political voting blocks, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, see,
so,
we're not
oh,
in. Okay. No, go ahead. My fault. Go ahead and finish.
no, so what they're arguing and how they're able to get away with this is that they're arguing that they could go into a predominant Democrat voting congressional district, and they can say, "Hey, we're going to resegment this because of the voting block that it votes for this particular group of people, and we're going to separate that based on that." But what they're trying to say that they didn't look at is that it was all black. That's how they're getting away with a lot of this bullshit.
Well, the
I mean,
problem that they're going to have is that any fool can see what they did, and all that, and those football players and basketball players are just going to say they don't want to play in a state. They don't
hmm
want to play for a state
hmm
where they're being exploited, even though they were being they were being exploited before the gerrymander thing. But they
yeah,
can now say that, and like I said, the SEC has a lot of problems. They're racist. They don't. None of them schools are going to hire a black coach.
I
They're
got you.
not. Alabama won't hire a black coach. If that guy from Notre Dame became available,
hmm
Alabama's not going to hire him
hmm
because they don't want a black coach. But they're going to lose their players.
hmm
And you're going to have a lot of these bigots looking stupid. And they're going to realize white supremacy is a lie. That's a big lie. But they've been fed that lie, and they want to digest it.
No, I get you. I get what you're saying. So, I mean, the thing comes down to is like you're looking at like this being one of it has to be this in addition to other things in order to get um, some leverage the other way. I mean, because at the end of the day, man, it's like um, from a without the consensus of the majority, black people can. We're only like a small percentage of the population. We've never been able to move anything just by ourselves. As
Mhm.
much as we protest and everything, we have to recognize that there had to be whether it be silent or public, a version of a percentage of the majority that had to be on our side in order to get legislation pushed through. So all the things that we've seen from the Civil War all the way up to the Civil Rights Act in 1965 and anything else that's been beyond that, it had to be in conjunction with a a majority that current day people would call liberal. I call them, constitutionalists, because if you're following the Constitution, that if you're citizens, you should be able to be given equal rights to any of. There shouldn't be different classes of citizens, but we'll for the sake of this, they like to distinguish as like one group is the liberals and the other group is the conservative. Like that's not true. You know, it's people like to use these labels in order to manipulate groups into thinking that they're one thing different than what they actually are. If you consider yourself conservative and you're limiting people's rights, I will say that you're a bigot or a racist. Um, and if they're calling you liberal because you believe that people that are born here are constitutionally entitled to the same rights as all the other citizens that were born here, then I would say that you're a patriot and you're an American and you're a constitutionalist. And we would just really have a really problem with that. So everybody's here trying to skirt these rules, and I think what we're seeing here is a skirting of the rules under the guise of being a conservative, when it's really is you're being a partisan, right? And or maybe even aligning with like a white nationalism, but it's certainly not American. It's certainly not patriotic in terms of what's going on in terms of modern day politics today. That's just my opinion, but
Oh
not.
no, it's not. I mean, it's they changed it. They was never supposed to change it. But I agree that it needs to be fixed.
Mhm.
You know, if they're going to do it, they need to say, "Hey, we don't want to take it back to the same. We want to go back to help the community." One of the things they could do is, um, I'm talking about at Alabama at Ole Miss. You should be able to get a degree for free if you're a black person on the
Mhm.
alumni. That should come from not the taxpayer, the alumni.
Mm.
They should feed you, house you, and teach you for 4 years.
Man, our country does not believe in altruism like that, man. It's like, that's just like it, I can't say I disagree with you necessarily, but that is not how these people think.
Well, we'll see, man. It's gonna catch fire, man. And then also, let's be for real. Some of those players want to get off those teams. The teams losing, they
Yeah.
want to play for that. They want to go play for Ohio State, but
Mhm.
so they're gonna do it.
No, for sure. No, but I thought it was interesting, man. Like I like where you're coming from in it, dude. I've been looking at a lot of the work you've been doing, man. And I'm like, man, you're bringing up some issues, brother. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
bringing up
Well,
some
we
issues.
we 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 try to help, man. And we try to offer some of these topics. And some of these topics, they're not fun topics. They're sort of boring.
Hmm.
But we can't do fun all the time. You know what I mean?
Right. And, but at the same time, I mean, I wish I could be as polarizing but I just don't see it that way. Like I'll kind of look at it from. I can tell what's right and what's wrong, but I can't just say that the other side doesn't do stuff that is asinine as well too. So it would be just disingenuous for me to actually say that. Um, but I do look at what's been going on lately, and honestly, it's very disappointing, man. You know,
Yeah.
I'm quite disappointed in the potential that Trump had in his presidency to do things in a certain manner, and I look at it as completely self-serving, and it's to me is to be as a dominant like populist type president like that, and to use the influence he has over the people to be completely and not even serve the actual people that are supporting him, I find it really disappointing, because there's people right now that will lay down their life for this man, and he just told them publicly when they were asking, like, hey, do you think about the finances of the how this is financially affecting the American people? He's like, no, not even a bit, not even at all. I'm just like, brother.
He lied and he got elected and he went to war and he raised their gas to $7 a gallon. And now the SEC is going to be looted because all that talent is going to leave. All it takes, man, is one major player. That one major player is going to have a effect on the economy, and it's going to draw other players away from that school. And what do you think College Game Day is? Yes, a football program, but those people are liberals. I'm trying to think. There's no open conservative on no College Game Day.
Right.
Now, they might turn around and get one, but they don't have one. And those people are liberals, so they're going to listen when a player says, I started not to go to this school, or I'm thinking about transferring because of the politics, and I don't want to be a part of what they're doing. That's going to grow legs, man. They're not going to ignore it. People think that's what they want to do. That's not Fox News. They're not going to cut to break. Fox News do that all the time. When you start talking like you got sense, they cut to break.
Yeah.
Okay, no. He said Pat McAfee. Okay, Pat, justify it. I want Pat McAfee to justify what's happened to the black community. And then ask him, does his vote matter? So we're gonna have to wait and see, but they're putting it together, and whoever put this thing, somebody did the groundwork. They did the footwork, man. They went in there and they found out how they affect the economy, with tourism, how much the team brings to the community when they do a home game, how much the team makes as opposed to NIL money. I mean, how much the school makes versus NIL money, and recruitment. Recruit, that's a big deal.
Right.
One thing about the University of Kentucky with John Calipari. John Calipari is still, well, he might be now, but mostly he's not considered a good coach. But he is considered one of the best recruiters ever because he just would get the best talent.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia, we just saw Indiana. Didn't they play? Who they play? Alabama, somebody like
that. They played
that.
Alabama. I thought they beat them.
Yeah, they blew them out, didn't it?
Yeah, they whooped them. They whooped on them, dude. It was a big upset. Like,
mm-hmm.
I mean, it may not. Like I would say, historically, it would have been nobody expected it to go that way. But I would say like that win, that probably be like they probably won't do it again. I think that was but I mean they did it, man. So you can't take it away from them.
thought it's her street. I thought it was Herb Street. The guy on a game day, he said he's a MAGA chud. I never got that. So we'll see. We'll see. But I know Dion is in the coaching. Dion is out there as a head coach. He's got his Hall of Fame background. He just got his contract. He needs a quarterback. That's what I'm saying. It depends on Dion. Do you want to play fair, Dion, or are you going to give him a pass? Because if I was you, I would be calling Alabama. I'd be calling all of these schools, and I would loot those schools of their talent. Why not? Yeah, I would do it because I don't see a reason that black players should even go to those schools. If they want to have all white schools, that's another thing I want to see. I want to see Alabama with an all white football team. Okay. Now let's go play football. Come on. They can still sit out, and then they can petition the SEC for an additional year based on, and it depends. I mean, NCAA, it depends because if enough of them do it, the NCAA will do it. They'll give them another year of eligibility. And if they sit out, that speaks volumes by them not playing.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the politics of college football or the stuff that goes with it. But I will say, like in general, though, if you look back historically, a lot of the protests in the nation did erupt around college age students, and adults in that time frame. Like if you look back at the latest war protests, some of the biggest war protests we've seen, it was during the Vietnam era. A lot of those people were younger people that were protesting that, because those are people that actually are enlisted and called in to actually fight those wars. So, if we ever get to the point where we're drafted again, those will be the people doing it. Like I'm too old to make a draft, and I'm outside of the I can't voluntarily enlist. I'm beyond that age as well too. So, those are our sons and daughters that are it's their future that's being affected by the things that are happening right now. And they're not like them. They can't even buy a house, man. They're based on the trajectory that's been going on in the last 10 years. They can't buy houses anymore. They're scared to get married, and they're not having children at the same clip. You know what I'm saying? And what that's creating in the long term is that we're going to look at an aging population that's going to look very similar to what problems they're having in Japan.
And you know what they were trying to do in preparation for the low birth rate and all of that? Immigration. And they were bringing over low labor people to do this stuff, because you're going to have whenever I don't know the exact number, but whenever the child, like one dips below the next, you literally have a whole year where, because your schools are built based on a certain amount of students, and they'll even bust students, to try to make it. But when you have, say you have a first grade class, and it normally gives you roughly 35 to 27. You look around, there's 10 kids in that class. That messes up everything because the birth rate was so low. So, and then as those people grow up, people die, they still living. It's a chain effect. They fall in and take place. Well, you're going to have a significant shortage, in a couple of years, because you're not having replacement. And if you turn around, The next year you got 13, and that second grade. Now first grade again, you got 6. That's why they had the immigrants. Now you had illegal immigration and all of that, but that was the whole thing about the immigrant. They would say, well, we can use them to do what? Not run for president, but bring me, my chicken order, or cut my grass.
Mm.
So that was the whole point. And that's what somebody told me in Japan. You have a kid, they'll give you $1,500. The Asian countries, even Asian countries, are paying for kids, even from foreign men, because they have such a low birth rate.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to project forward. They can't wait till it happens. A child can't. A child takes 15, 16 years to come of age, right? Age of an adult.
To be a productive citizen at all.
Age of maturity, 18 years old. Right, 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So you want that kid to either go to college and then you want them to join the workforce. If you wait 10 years to say, hey, we have such a low birth rate, there's going to be a shortage of citizens. Let's pay people to give us more citizens. It's still going to be a 10-year gap, but they're doing it now. And it tells you how desperate they are, because if they're willing to take a mixed kid, which is what they're paying for, the traditional 2 Asians having a baby, it's just such a low birth rate. And they're trying to protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where we stand, man. You got Trump. You got a new South. You got Trump South. Blacks will transfer out of the SEC in record numbers. They're going to bankrupt those schools. What you see now called the SEC, 10 years from now, call it the MAC. It's going to be the MAC conference. None of those schools are ever going to be even close. Half of those schools are going to have to drop the program. They're going to have to just drop the football program, or they're going to have to go into Division II. What we now know as HBCU, WAC football, WAC conferences, that's what the SEC is about to become. When all of these players start leaving, you're going to see Grambling all over again. You're going to see Jacksonville State. That's what's going to happen, because they're going to be devoid of talent.
Mm-hmm.
And this was going to happen anyhow. So they wanted to play with racism. But see, what they're going to find out is blacks are not going to sit still. See, that's the whole thing. In slavery, you couldn't do anything. It was do it or we'll beat you to death. Well, this is different. These guys don't have to play for a Southern university. If you disrespectful, they'll go play for Ohio State. They'll go play for USC. Now, they got enough players. Man, you know how many colleges out there, Oregon? If they want to go, if you starting for Georgia, you can go anywhere you want to. Go to Notre Dame. Opportunity, man, and they got nobody to blame for them. They got nobody to blame. They chose to go racist. They made a choice to say, hey, we're going to take voting representation from these blacks. And that shows you what kind of people you're dealing with. That shows you the hate that the black person. See, all these people talk. Black people are living in a world of fucking hatred. You don't want my vote to count? Oh, I'm going to disperse it. So now it doesn't count. Well, that's not what we're doing. Okay, well, do the same thing you're doing to me. Take the black vote and make it 75% and put 30% white in it, since it's not racial. You don't want them to have a say. That's why you diluted it. And that's racist. And that would take a while. So they've already filed suits. But the players can do it now. They don't have to wait till Supreme Court hears a suit. The players can do it now to teach them not to, we're not going to support your racism.
Yep. And so I'm over here looking at, man, people are really not understanding. I mean, or they're choosing not to understand what's really going on, though. Is that it's like they don't understand that though the Supreme Court says you cannot set congressional districts based on race, all right, fine, that's okay. But what's happening though, if we can't set them based on race, that means we cannot target redistricting based on race either. And what's going on is that their state legislators are specifically looking at congressional representatives that are black, that are voted in,
Are they looking at
and
the voters?
they're looking at those people, and they're looking at the voters there, and they're breaking those districts up to make sure that those elected officials that look like the people that are in those districts are being split where they no
Okay,
longer get elected.
they've already well, they got to have the election, but they've already filed in the lawsuits to try to get a
Mhm.
Supreme Court case.
Mhm.
But what the players can do is transfer to another school.
Right.
And let me tell you, once they start feeling that type of loss of revenue, they're going to go to the legislature and say, we got to go back because we can't get people to come to our school. And it affects so much other. Just like, you know, you travel, you live, and while you live, you might get an Airbnb. That's revenue to the person that owns their Airbnb. But if you're not there, nobody can afford it or nobody can be there because you're not there.
Yep.
And he says, y'all forget it. It was only 6 years ago and those are still alive. Okay. Well, let's keep it. Let's see how it goes. This is where there's disagreement. You guys think that those athletes are not going to do anything. I disagree with that. I think they will. I get what you're saying, leave it the way it is. Well, some people, not everybody's going to accept that. No, it's racism. And you know what? And for saying that, you got to hit the link. That's a dude. That's a dude with a fake profile. Why you guys like to come over here with that? Shit. What's that? Shay Genus? What is that? She. I don't know what that is.
And they're saying there's so many other racist black folks because we're the talented in all things. It's jealousy. No, that person not they're not opposing anything. They're just saying that
Yeah,
it's not
and
pro-black.
somebody said black people elect white representation. Who said they didn't? Who said that
It's
um, the district has to be represented by a black person? No, it doesn't.
doesn't.
But they have no way to elect a representative the way they drew the district. They said don't draw it up by race. They turned around, drew it up by race. They
Exactly.
didn't say we're gonna put 50% black in this district, 50% white. They deliberately said it like that so they could tilt the scale. And it's got something to do with Donald Trump and all of that too, because he's the midterms. But they're trying to steal the election. The whole time he's complained about it, all he does is try to steal it.
Right. Because I mean, there have been plenty of times where predominantly black groups have elected a someone that does not look like them that represents the interests of their district, and they elect them. Yeah, but here's the problem: is that right now they don't even want that person in there. They're going to break that district up, so that person gets vote doesn't even get a chance to run. They can't even run. They won't even that district doesn't even exist the way it was before.
Huh? Well,
You
or
know.
you can accept that, or you can do something about it. And
Mhm.
we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah, they could take that district and split it between the other evenly amongst the other four adjoining districts and then break that group up into four different disparate groups. It's like, so that it doesn't even exist as it was before. And that's what's going on right now with these redistricting maps. They're literally targeting specific congressional people. They're saying like, hey, we don't like their politics. We're going to push them out because they represent the people in that area.
I
And
got
that's what people are I'm just like, I don't know if it's willful ignorance or what, but that's what's going on.
You're right. Gloria says these racists are getting high off the racist rhetoric of Stephen Miller, Peter Thiel. Yeah. Vance, Louis. Yeah. Yep. 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 All them people you name, multimillionaires, living their best life. Yet they're telling these clowns, half of these MAGA meth heads drive Ubers and they have accept, and they feed them racism and now they got to pay the price. Now they got to pay the price. And we're gonna go ahead and end. Well, you can have the last word, Hutch. You want to speak on it, say something on the topic, because we're gonna go ahead and shut this down.
Well, I mean, it's yeah, it's so it's pretty much the whole thing that was set around like the civil rights movement. So like, yeah, they're getting high off of these looking down upon on black folks, and they set it to a point where no matter what you are as a black person, no matter how educated you are, no matter how talented you are, no matter how successful you are, it's all because somebody gave it to you and you didn't earn it. It doesn't, that's the narrative that's being pushed here. Everything that any black person has done is purely DEI. That's the whole concept that they're pushing here. And this started with Lyndon B. Johnson. He basically said, he's like, yeah, let's go ahead and give these things to, we're going to let black people be in a greater society. And then we're going to have, as long as we have white folks have somebody to look down upon, we got a voter for life. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, they're always below you, no matter where you are in society. That black person is always going to be below you. And then we are.
We'll see about that. I disagree. See, now you're getting into that athletic world, and don't let the hip hop world, which, I mean, I'm not saying they can have the rappers, but they're going to make anthems just like you saw. They not like us. You underestimate what they can do properly motivated. And I think that's what they've done. They think this is still slavery. They think black people are still sleeping outside with the horses. They're going to find out now. And they generate a lot of revenue. And once you lose that, and yeah, I hope they say, get out of here. We don't want the Titans. Okay, turn down the NFL. You're right. Turn them down, man. They're a bunch of fucking liberals. Okay. And see how long you last. All the northern states, that's where all the money is. Mississippi makes nothing. Mississippi is paid for. If there's a such thing as a food stamp state, it would be Mississippi. Somebody said Puerto Rico's like that too. Some of these states generate no revenue. The government takes care of them. If you was to liquidate those schools, and I don't know what's in Mississippi, but I was going to look at some of those businesses, it would be nothing but a cotton field. Because people have to pay for the products. If you don't have jobs, you're not going to have a McDonald's because you don't have nobody to buy it. So it'll go out of business. You're not going to have a Kroger or a grocery store because you don't have citizens with money. Then
exactly.
Holes in the ground. I mean, your grass needs to be cut. Police, firemen, they have to be paid. You're not going to have them because you don't have a tax base because you don't have jobs.
Exactly.
And if it happens like that, it'll be their own fault because they chose racism. Instead of saying, hey, like South Carolina did, like LSU did, I mean, Louisiana did, let's sit down, let's caucus on this. Let's see let's see how we want to handle this. No, they said, fuck that. We're going to redistrict. Okay. Now they're going to suffer the consequences. That's what the white supremacists, the bigots and the racists and the white supremacists, they don't want that part. They think that black people should suffer the consequences too. So in other words, shut up, be a good nigger, and go and make some money for this university. And I'm telling you, man, that day is over. I don't know why they think it's going to be a few Negroes who do that, but you're going to look. All right, okay, you'll see.
Yeah, and here here was the exact quote from Lyndon B. Johnson during the civil rights thing. He's like, if you convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, he'll even empty them for you. and there you go. And we're seeing it real time. That's why you can look at somebody that doesn't benefit from the people they elect year after year, continue to elect them and continue to go broker, and they continue to blame the black person. They continue to blame the immigrant. They continue to blame everybody else except for the person that's taking the money right out of them, taking the food out of their kid's mouth and taking the money right out of their pocket. Mm-hmm. It's everybody else's fault. And that's where that it's a complete delusion, man. Because it has to be that person's fault over there.
I got you, man. I appreciate you. You, Hut. And we finna get on up out of here, man. Like, share, support, man. Like the stream, man. Support the platform, man. We trying to help. You see what's going on. This isn't those. They want you to think that you still in chains. You don't have to listen to that bullshit. All of this blame the Democrat. That wasn't Democrat. Those were white, racist bigots involved in slavery. They were not Democrats. But the racist tries to pin all the blame on the Democrat. It's the same good cop, bad cop. Evil is evil. Right? And you see what they just done. That was evil. What would make somebody want to do that to their fellow American? That's evil. You went out there and took those people's rights. That's evil. And they're going to pay for that.